All right, well, as this goes live, I think it's live right now. This is Cloud Foundry Weekly, live from Germany, or Cloud Foundry Day Europe 2024. We have some great guests today. If you haven't seen the show, go check it out, cloudfoundryweekly.com. Yeah, there's a lot of great episodes. So I guess without further ado, I'll hand it over to Nicky. Both mics here. Hot swap.
So we're going to see if we can do this better than we did with New York. But first off, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying Cloud Foundry Day here in Germany. Yeah, see there? At least we got one that wants to yell out. Yep. Can always count on Wayne to get things going, so that's awesome. So we would like to take a chance to, thank the Linux Foundation and the Cloud Foundry Foundation for having us here and letting us do this once again. The last episode that we did in New York was a huge show. And so we're hoping to get this. We've got a lot of people. We want to get a lot of questions. So as we go through this, if you have questions, just let us know. We'll bring a mic to you. We'll ask you questions once we get through the interview here with Daniel. So with that kicking off, we'll go ahead. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows Nick. Go ahead. You know Amelia, but we're going to go ahead and let her introduce herself again.
Hi, Cloud Foundry Weekly. I'm Amelia Downs. I'm an R&D engineer at Broadcom and excited member of the CF community.
2 mics, okay, that's new. Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm a team lead of the cloud platform team at Datev. We are running Cloud Foundry and the Kubernetes service, Cloud Foundry with 14,000 AIs. And we are the third biggest software company in Germany, slightly smaller than SAP. Okay, a lot smaller than SAP, but it is the third one. And what's special about us, we are 50 years old. We have a data center since the beginning. It's basically started with, it's the thing before the mainframe. I don't know the name, to be honest. And we still are very focused on on-premise data centers due to regulations. Yeah.
Everybody give it up for Daniel. This is his
Yeah, I want to do a little, in case you don't know, can you tell us what Datev is? For those like me that are American, we might not use your products.
True, okay. So what Datev is, Datev is a cooperative for tax consultants and lawyers. Cooperative means our customers are also our owners. Everyone has one vote, and so we are not shareholder focused, we are member focused, we are a very long-term focused, and we are doing every software that our tax consultant need. And just to get Germany has a very complicated tax regulations, and so the software is very complicated. For example, we do payrolls for 1/3 of the German employees every month. We do a lot of digitalization between small and mid-sized companies and the tax consultants, because tax consultants are often the business advisor for small companies who might be good in plumbing but not good in figures, so they help them. And for example, here we have applications with 6 million digital receipts every day processing, so they can digitalize this thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I was just fixing to say, we kind of kicked it off. The very first question we generally ask everybody that comes on the show is, can you describe, or what is your favorite CF memory or your first CF push?
Of course. My first CF memory is always that my whole cloud journey started with Cloud Foundry. I was, before Cloud Foundry, before 2018, I was a Fed client developer, also developing applications for Windows. That's what a lot of our developers do nowadays still. And then I see this whole cloud journey at Datev begins, and they had a team at the data center and saying, okay, we need a team which provides cloud infrastructure. And we want to do things different, and we need people who know it. And I call the manager and just say, hey, do things differently, work agile, totally me, but I don't know anything about cloud or any data center. Okay, just come in and try it. And then I learned it. And the first online application I have ever written was with Cloud Foundry, and I just thought, that's not a big deal. So what I was struggling as later on I realized how complex it was, for example, with traditional WebSphere, what we still are trying to get rid of at the moment. So Cloud Foundry for me raised the bar, set the expectations for everything else, also for Kubernetes in terms of simplicity, for example.
Excellent. And we've got Nick over here in the shadows, so we're going to pass off to him, let him ask the first question.
Well, you want the mic? No, there is a mic over there. Oh, well, I got both now. All right, so our next question. So Cloud Foundry has been a game changer for many organizations. Actually, I'm skipped that one. I can't read. So what is your business using Cloud Foundry today for? Are there any cool use cases that you can talk about or cool things that you have achieved with Cloud Foundry? Pass that back down the line there.
Okay, cool things in Texas. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's cool, but what I was always amazed is when I see, for example, when we started with Cloud Foundry at 2018, 2019, we started this whole cloud journey for our company, and we had one big meeting, we call it Nicky Camp, where customers, employees come and we talked about how to get this cloud journey working. And one of our first teams got there and said, okay, we've discussed with the customers one feature which they want to have implemented, and we implemented at that day, and it goes live in the afternoon. And they managed to do it, and everybody was just like, how is this possible? We had traditional WebSphere with this whole, you have to do a ticket, you don't have access to production, and so everybody was just freaking out about it. That was really great. We did it also really fast at times in COVID where we had to do where we had to implement something really fast in order to get companies money from the state. Mm-hmm. And there was a team which gets the first talk about it, what they need to get it live, to get it at scale within 2 days. And that was just something I love about Cloud Foundry. And recently it was just like when I talked about WebSphere, we are migrating the last WebSphere apps, and the WebSphere team, or some guys at the WebSphere team said, okay, this small workload can run on Cloud Foundry, but the big workload we are transporting doesn't work on it. And they keep smiling, and now we are migrating them really easily. It's 2 times faster, and what might be interesting, we do it with a lift and shift approach. So it wasn't a big rewrite. So what we did, we built a build pack for it, which has basically the same configuration environment for them. And so it was really easy. And so just was like, I told you so, it works.
Okay, so in R&D, before talking to you, I had never heard of anyone writing their own custom build pack for anything, let alone a lift and shift. You're in the field, Nicky. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this before?
I have not. I've seen people modify build packs, maybe add some stuff in, but I've never seen anybody build a build pack specifically for a lift and shift, especially for something like WebSphere. Mm-hmm. So, as we talk about that, I mean, how long did that take you? What went into that? And we know the reason why you did it, but what was the engineering effort to build your own build pack to do something like this for the lift and shift?
And do you remember whose crazy idea it was?
Okay, the crazy idea was from a guy you might know, some of you. It was Jürgen. Greeting to you all guys from him. And it was back in the days when the Cloud Foundry was very small within our company. And what I maybe have to tell you, we started implementing it in our existing data center. So we have WebSphere, we have DB2, and we were the first team who say, hey, cloud is the future, and a lot of other teams in the company said at that time, I'm not sure about it. And so we was thought about a way, how can we get this workload easily into Cloud Foundry? And then Jürgen came up with the idea, why not build up the same environment, almost the same environment for the applications from traditional WebSphere. So they don't need to rewrite if they don't have the time. Rewrite is good, app modernization is important, but not everybody has the time to do it. And so the idea was born. And the engineering effort I think it was not so much as you might think. It's 2 to 3 people at the beginning, then I think now it's within the team. Sometimes we have to do more, sometimes it's less, but it's 1 to 2 people, I guess.
So is this something that you plan, if this was built for the lift and shift, is this a temporary measure?
Yep.
Is this a temporary measure where you expect the application to go, Cloud Foundry, native on Cloud Foundry, or do you expect to keep this build pack around for applications moving forward?
Also, we expect them that they migrate. As you might know, roadmaps take longer than you, as a platform provider, you might want it to be. So we built this build pack, or we started with this build pack in 2020. We tried to get rid of him and say, hey, now migrate. Then a huge business unit came and say, okay, you want to get rid of a traditional WebSphere next year? We can't do it if we have to rewrite all. A rewrite means for us 12-factor, using Spring, the whole stack. So what should we do? And it's one of our cash cows. So it wasn't an opportunity to say just we don't do it. And then we say, okay, we have this build pack, we invest in it. And so nowadays, I think we have to keep it at least the next 2 to 3 years. But it's basically because they have a clear strategy which is saying, keep it running until it's rewritten.
Excellent. Well, and you've got, so, talking about that, I'll kick that out to the audience and those that are listening. We haven't heard of anybody doing that, but if Datev can do it, I wonder if there's others. If there's anybody else out there that has written their own custom build pack for a reason, please let us know. We'd like to talk to you to figure out why you did it and how you did it. But it's inspiring another episode. We're working with some of the people within the Tanzu world to come up with an episode about how you might go about building these build packs. Because what you guys showed us is very interesting. It's huge. And it opens up a lot of possibilities if it's something that other companies can do.
There's another mic there.
Sweet. Now we don't have to pass the...
Just maybe a little story in addition. We didn't do it once, we did it twice. So another team just did it for MapR. Also I'm not into MapR, but they started, 1 engineer or 2 engineers started because we haven't had an integration. So, and then they open sourced it. So then they gift it to their company, and then they open source it. I'm not sure about that one. We are not using it anymore, but it works, so it's not a problem.
You saw what he did there. So we already did one thing awesome, but no, we did 2 things awesome.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure everybody knows that we didn't do it once, we did it twice.
They're build pack fiends
The
now.
build pack fiends, right? Yep. So on that side with the foundations, I mean, you've got your custom build packs that you're running. Do you also use services? What does your marketplace look like on your foundations?
I would say it's a typical marketplace. We have data services, we have Postgres, we have Redis, we have custom service brokers written, for example, for getting monitoring in a Zynga. We have also in our brownfield data center little service brokers, for example, just for get the connection to the DB2, because we have applications which are on Spring but didn't do the database migration, and so they get access to it.
Gotcha.
And also Kafka messaging and such thing. Yeah.
Passing back the batons. Yeah. All right. So this is a question I like asking, especially because every time SAP talks, you all usually share things about your size and scale, and that's always gets me excited. I think someone said 256 gig Diego cell earlier, so I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. But can you share some of your hero stats, like how many foundations you're running, how many AIs, like any kind of information about like the size and scale of your deployments?
Yeah, we have 14,000 application instances distributed over 5 foundations. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically. I'm not sure about the CPU and RAM. Maybe my Bosch guru at the back knows it.
I don't think you need to exactly. That's a lot of stuff to keep in your brain. You know how much CPU you're using.
Yeah. How many terabytes of RAM, things of that nature. Yeah. Okay. Then I guess one more. So Cloud Foundry has been excuse me. Sorry. Cloud Foundry has been a game changer for many organizations at modernization. How has it streamlined your processes or changed your business? pass this back to you before I cough everything.
Yeah, as from my point of view, Cloud Foundry really is the heart or was the backbone of our whole cloud transformation. So when we implemented Cloud Foundry in our data center, we implemented it in the brownfield data center, and we started with the old, commonly used processes, and then we start use it as a showcase and go to the, for example, the service provider team and say, hey, we have here Cloud Foundry, we have this marketplace. Don't you want to go into this marketplace, but you have to do it in a certain way. And so, for example, the database team starts thinking about building up an offering. And we also started with the old processes, means at the first version at Cloud Foundry we had it, that in production only we got access, or we call it some teams and the operational in the data center team. And then we said to the guys, look, it could be much faster if we do it differently. We call it mode 2. At the beginning, mode 2 was an exception. It was really fast. It was a normal thing, and nobody used mode 1 anymore. And then we start going to that change, to the change management team, say, look, why do we need to approve every change when it's isolated? Can we do it differently? Mm-hmm. And that was really a showcase where we really started transforming our way of developing applications. And nowadays we have operational model and a development model which is based on you build it, you run it, responsible teams which use, for example, Spring, which use Cloud Foundry, which can take their service from the marketplace, and it's kind of normal for us. And that Cloud Foundry was a thing where you can make it going live and not just discussing about something nobody really can imagine.
That's a very interesting point. So when we look at a lot of companies that go in with Cloud Foundry today, Cloud Foundry is out there to speed up development. But what we see with a lot of companies is their internal processes actually take that back away, right? Yeah. We got change management we got to go through, we got change windows. Did you find that Cloud Foundry changed your corporate culture, or did your culture change with Cloud Foundry, if that makes sense?
I would say it's both. So from times it was that Cloud Foundry changes the corporate culture, and also the company wants to change. Very nice. They have the need, the urgent to change, and some things come back. It wasn't all. It was both. So it's really, I think, it was synergy. Yeah.
Did you find there was any difficulties in speeding up the path to production for your developers through this platform? I mean, did you have any of those blocks? I understand the company wanted to change, but did you have any of those blocks where we don't want to go to production that fast, or we need to do the normal change management things?
Yes. Also, what's always what we are still fighting for is, for example, the change management thing is not because the people don't accept it, because they say. For example, we have workload at our company which is very focused on certain days, payrolls, for example. And payrolls has this special thing. If you don't get your payroll, your money, yep, people get really mad.
Don't say.
As you might remember. And then we have teams which started with Cloud Foundry, where maybe were on the mainframe, and now they started to going to Cloud Foundry. And then we still have the discussions about why do you patch at that days? And we say, hey, we are a platform team, we have fully automated it, we don't use anything manually with our patches, and our platform can handle it. We can patch on these high volume days. I said, but our application, is it really? And so we still have to prove it. That's I think it's a cultural thing, but really still struggling. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question or just something was coming up.
That answers my question. I'll give one more, and then I'll let you know this is going to lead into what I know is one of Amelia's favorite questions. But being here at Cloud Foundry Day, we've watched a lot of really good talks, a lot of things about the future of Cloud Foundry. Is there any one thing that kind of stood out to you today that you're very excited about what people are doing with Cloud Foundry?
I wouldn't say that it's anything special. What I like was the whole vibe about it. So as this whole thing, Cloud Foundry is still alive, and we keep investing in it. It's a renaissance thing. I love it, yeah. And for me, I truly believe that it's an and Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes. That's the way we are doing it. That's the thing I truly believe that's the power for the future is. I always talk to developers, if you can use Cloud Foundry, if it's enough for you, use Cloud Foundry, focus on your business domain. We talked before, when a team doing payrolls in Germany, payrolls, it's really, really complicated. You don't want to do this infrastructure stuff. So why should you do it if you don't have to?
Right.
And we have other teams which do, for example, run a search engine. And for them, a Kubernetes cluster where they can do the infrastructure stuff is good enough and it's okay.
So time for my favorite question. Okay, so I'm in R&D. I'm the one who eventually gets feature requests or reviews the PRs and merges things. And so my favorite question to ask is, what is on your wish list for features so I can know what to greenlight when they all come to me?
I'm glad you're asking because last week we had
got a list here.
I'm not. To be honest, this whole thing which we heard at the morning, it just runs. That was the first thing which came in my mind. So I hadn't really at the first thing was when I say, okay, what do we really, really urgently need? Then last week we had an incident, and then comes to my wish list because the incident was just like because our app, which was gone mad, gone crazy, got really a lot of connections, and these connections got bad implications of our whole infrastructure. It was because we have brownfield. At that time, we don't have we have an API management system, but we don't use it everywhere at the moment. We are still migrating to it. And at that point, we don't use it. We have Apaches instead, and Apaches have worker threads, and these worker threads can run out. And so this application has so much connections that the Apache, which is a kind of old, lightweight API management with no rate limiting, really impacted all other applications. So if we got the possibility from a platform side just to say, I can limit the connection per app and not per app instance, which is at the moment, as far as I know, would be great.
Okay, so I'm hearing per app connection limits.
Yes.
To prevent those rogue apps from taking over. Got it. Okay, noted.
No, okay. Next week.
That's it? That's
next
it?
week or in 2 weeks.
I guess we open it up to
Yeah, as Vic should say.
any questions. I can run to you with mics if there's any questions that you want to ask us. Anybody?
Don't be shy.
We have a lot of good questions in the crowd in New York.
No pressure.
Yeah, we're not going to compare y'all to New York, but they did way better at asking questions than you did. Nothing.
No? I thought I saw something.
Yeah, there we go. Always takes one.
I will
He'll kick it off.
sometimes. Yeah, as I knock out my hair. Yeah.
Okay, 2 mics. It's the first time I speak into 2 mics. Simple question. Would you be affected if we switch off CF API v2 today?
To be honest, yes. So we need some time to migrate things. To be honest, we tried at some point. I'm not sure when it was. I think it was for 2 years or last year. We tried to migrate to CF CLI with version 3, and it didn't work out. So we switched back at most times to version 2. So for us, yes, it would be a huge impact. So a long roadmap with migration time would be good for us.
Hi. So kind of curious just on the talking tracks today, is there anything around the services areas, service brokers, cups, that whole trifecta that your team has seen like could possibly be improved or pain points?
So the question was anything around service brokers or such things, or this whole ecosystem?
Cups, like the marketplace, like all that area direction of things.
What do you want to improve there?
What do you want?
How could it be better? Any pain points?
They want more features.
Yeah.
I want more features.
How can we make connecting to services easier?
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
How can we connect that? It's a good question. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. I have to talk to my team. What comes in my mind, I'm not sure if it's if it answers your question correctly, is when I talk about this whole thing, Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry, I just was wondering, hey, why can we consume a data service from Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes very easily? So why do we have to do it one way and the next thing the other way? Why isn't the marketplace independent? I think there was times where we talked about an independent marketplace. These are things which I wanted to see here.
So are you talking about bringing in like Kubernetes projects and using those as data services? Using those as data services within Cloud Foundry and vice versa, being able to say Kubernetes applications or workloads could come in and use, say, Postgres off of Cloud Foundry?
Yes, for example.
Hi, you've mentioned, it's pretty weird, but okay. I spilled a bottle of mate there, so guess this is more normal than that. You mentioned that you have different teams building applications in different ways, and you want to have some application-based limits. So do you do any analysis how the applications are being built and how are they running before you let them in production? And if you do some consulting hours, like you've done this way, but it would be much performant and much better for the application and for the platform itself if you do it a bit differently, for example.
We have enabling units. It's not within the platform team because we are focused on running the platform and improving it. That's just, but we can do it with every team. We have 2,000 developers. When you divide it with 5 to 7 people in one team, it's just too much. So from a platform perspective, I just want to have the things that I can isolate, the application, the workload. So we say, if they do it wrong, they just break their application. They are responsible. I know API gateway rate limiting. We also talked about different perspectives how to do it. For example, using Spring Cloud Gateway or on limiting on load balancers is also possibilities. But if I wish. Yeah.
One side question. There are some application quotas which you can set to the applications or applications themselves or space or organizations. So have you taken a look there and do you find any limitations missing or permissions missing, I would say, for the application? So where we should do something about that maybe.
To be honest, we're using app quotas. We've also implemented it. I'm not aware of that we are missing something, but I can just talk to my team, to the engineers, and go back to you. So no problem.
Let me dig in on what you just asked, because it sounded like you were actually talking to Amelia, and you wanted there was a feature request in there. Am I wrong? When we started talking about permissions, that's what it sounded like you were doing there.
We're working in the same working group, so.
He knows how to submit PRs.
Okay. All right.
I'm simply searching for interesting places where we can do some things, because we've done some nice things now with the byte-based lock rate limiting in Logaggregator. Maybe we need to work on things like that somewhere else in the runtime. So. Yeah.
All right, so I was right. I just had it the wrong way. You're not looking to submit a feature. You want people to come to you with features.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
All right, you heard it. Huh?
We're open for
right.
pull requests as well. Don't get me wrong. Because
So if you've got questions about permissions, you don't think they're right, here we go. We've got people to talk to.
Questions?
Hi, I'm Marcelan here. So I just want to know, since you said that you're running around 14,000 applications with 5 Cloud Foundry foundations, how do you manage the scaling requirements of the apps? Are you having some particular mechanism to do it, or some stuff around that to scale your applications?
Sorry, I didn't get I didn't hear the question completely. Can you just repeat it?
Yeah. So what are the mechanisms you use to scale your applications when some traffic is coming for the app? So you have more instances, right?
Yeah.
And do you use particular tool like we have application autoscaler in the CF platform?
So, okay. Also, we have teams which using the autoscaler. For example, in that incident, when we analyzed it, it was okay. The limit we configured per container instance was good enough. But then the autoscaler came with the metrics and scaled it up, and so we raised the limit. So it was. But in our way of developing, it's just an offering in the marketplace, and developer teams are free to choose if they want to use autoscalers, or if they don't want to use autoscalers. It's their responsibility. And we are just taking care of that we have enough Diego size, enough infrastructure resources available at every time.
Okay, thank you.
Do you provide, I'm not going to read it over, I'll just, all right. So when your developers come to you and say, we're going to autoscale our app, do they work with the platform team? Do you guys help them with their testing, looking at their load so that they can determine what the correct metrics are for their apps to scale? Or is it simply 100% on the developers?
To be honest, that's changed. At the beginning, we were very collaborate with the first teams, but nowadays we have, from my point of view, a lot of knowledge within the companies or within the business units that they are about Cloud Foundry, and they just don't come with such questions to us. They help each other. For example, in teams where we have communities where they can raise questions, or they have architectures, they have knowledge about it, and so it's not the thing that they come with those, for me, small questions to us. It's when there are bigger things. For example, yeah.
I think there's a big lesson there in helping train the trainers. So you taught the first couple teams how to do it. They disseminated that out to the rest of the application teams. I think there's a good lesson there.
Yes, exactly.
I think any more questions? I think we have to wrap up soon. So just last call for questions. No? Okay. Well, if you haven't seen the show before, we end every show with the CF BY, and we have a live audience with quite a few people here. So
well, we're real quick. We want to make sure everybody knows. We want to thank the audience for being out there.
Yes.
Make sure that if you're watching, you go and hit subscribe. You hit the like button. Make sure you know when new things are coming out. We've got a lot of episodes coming out every Thursday. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you know.
Yeah, thanks, Nicky.
Between the two of us, we always get that one.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so I guess we'll do a countdown. I'll do a 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all do a CF BY, and then we can all go and celebrate later tonight. All right, so 3, 2, 1, CF BY. Bye-bye. Thanks for that. All right, that's it.
All right, good show, everybody.